Hi guys. So let's do a full moon in Virgo reading. As I'm fond of saying, I'm a Virgo Sun, Moon, and Venus. And Virgo, I am actually harnessing the energy of this full moon. Virgo is a sign known for its attention to details, for groundedness, for down to earth characteristic. It's a sign of independence, of being able to tend for yourself without asking for another person's help, or relying, not really asking but relying on other people's help. And this full moon in Virgo, that is something that most of us, even the natal Virgo like me, has to focus on the reality, the present, be grounded in the present, in the moment. Okay, so I draw this card already so I could actually get the message right, or study the message here, especially with the oracle cards. The first one I've got, and this is from the Wisdom Keepers, Oracle Decks, and Inner Guidebook. So this is a spiritual awakening. And my question here is, what is being awakened for my collective right now? And they gave me this deck, the transmutation. Okay. Transmutation is about transmuting one energy into another. It's like temperance, which I have in the underlying energy. It's like, creating that balance from the darkness to the light, from the heaven and the earth, from your past to the present moment, and transmuting it into something good and something magical in the future. Oracle, and they gave me the present. This is actually the deck that I also draw from yesterday's collective reading, and I posted in the community tab, in my social media pages. This is actually the energy that I also drew yesterday. And the present is being present in the moment, because in the moment you can actually focus on everything that's happening right now, right at this moment. You could, let me read this from the book. I want to, because it's impossible for me to say it word for word. I want to read the transmutation first. Okay. The only way to transcend suffering is to move more deeply into it, embracing every feeling and event that comes to you. It reminds me of that um, quote from Carl Jung: one does not become enlightened by, envisioning light, but by actually delving into making the darkness or our shadow aware, awakening our darkness, awakening our shadow, those that are those part of ourselves that we are ashamed of, those part of ourselves that we don't want to accept, those parts of ourselves that we deny or we don't want in our lives. Suffering is one of them, one of those. And it says here that the only way to transcend is from suffering is to move more deeply into it, embracing every feeling and event that comes to you. So, whatever is happening right now, you don't have to look back in the past and um, remind yourself of the situation that hurts you or that caused you that suffering, but to stay in the present and what do you call that? You're going to compartmentalize. You're going to separate your thoughts from your feelings. That is the message of the present. To study and to learn how to combine them in a way that will be beneficial for you. Let me read the message of this card from this book. You can also check the community tab for because I shared this message in the community tab. The present is the opportunity for the empath. We are all empaths to witness all that they are in the moment. The emotions, thoughts, and aches and pains, all giving clues for healing. Because that's where we are going to derive our inspiration or our passion or our desire for healing from those suffering, from those aches and pains and thoughts and emotions. As you witness and separate each part of your experience, you can begin to see the interaction between these parts of self. How thought affects emotion, how emotion affects thought, and even physical pain can affect our energetic well being. Soon, the skilled empath learns that a thought is just a thought and it has no power unless power is given to it. In the moment, emotions can be experienced without the need for being trapped in cycles that are never ending. Mindfulness of the moment can even create an opening where the struggle against physical pain is released and has been shown to alleviate symptoms. So let me go back to this sentence. Can be experienced without the need for being trapped in cycles that are never ending. So what are those cycles that are never ending in your life? You don't have to be trapped in that. These emotions can be experienced without going back to those cycles. We need to learn to witness and separate each part of these experiences so we can begin to see how these experiences interact with one another and how it affects our emotions in the present because that is going to be the basis of tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. The present is going to be the basis of the future that we are creating, right? A while ago, a friend, a mentor, um, called me to ask, this friend is just recently separated, getting a divorce, and he called me to ask what I did when I separated from my partner of almost 17 years. How long did it take me to recover? And I said 3 weeks. Okay. The recovery is not really the fully recover, because the strengthening comes after the 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I let myself process the pain. 3 weeks, I let myself cry over whatever it is that I I I regret, and I all the bad energies, the bad things that accumulated inside me. I'm not aware that I am already processing that. I just know that I need the time to sit quietly and not resist the pain that is driving me to my knees. I allowed myself 3 weeks for feeling those pain, and but after that I get up. I started making plans, and I shifted my focus into restructuring of our lives, mine and my children's lives. I started restructuring the businesses which my ex-partners was a part of. I started planning on new things to experience, the things that I never experienced when I was still with the ex. I like I always say, I was able, because that time I was 75 kilos, and in 4 months I went down to, I think, 63, 62, and I was able to wear my first two-piece bikini at the age of 41, and I'm still fat by that time, but I gained my confidence to wear that outfit. It doesn't matter how I look. I climbed my first mountain. I dived my first ocean. And I didn't know that I was actually in the transmutation mode by that time. I embraced the pains, the anger, the hate, all the negative emotions that the experience gave me. And from that, I'm not saying that after 3 weeks, there was no more pain, there was no more anger, there was no more um, need for revenge, especially the need for revenge, because I'm a very revengeful person. I'm a very vengeful person. But as I shifted the focus into planning my life, my children's lives, the business, the things that I want to do on my own and with my kids, I slowly became okay. I started, dating. I started meeting other people for fun, just going out because I wasn't able to do that for so many years. I was the kind of person who will remain faithful to a commitment, loyal to a commitment, even when the love is no longer there. And that's not I'm that's not right, actually. I was so proud that I'm a very loyal person. I'm a very faithful person even if I no longer love the partner. I will stay to that partner to the end of my life because I am committed. I am proud of that. But as I went into this journey, I realized that life is not supposed to be like that. Life is not about commitment. Life is about living, about what's going to make you happy at this moment. So I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware that I was actually transmuting the pain to something, to a new version of myself. But that's what I did. I was able to accept what happened easily because, and I said this to my friend, I was able to accept what happened because I keep on reminding myself of what I don't like when it comes to my relationship. And because I was able to determine the things that I don't like, I was able to identify the things that I want when it comes to my relationships. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't apply to, romantic relationships, our partners in life. It also applies to our relationship with other people, with friends, with our family members, relationships in general. So it's not about convincing yourself that all is well, or convincing, I always saw that, see that meme that you'll never find me in somebody else's, things like that, those words, those empty words that we keep on s- telling to, or sharing to people just to cope. It's a coping mechanism, but that's not really how we feel. We still cling to the idea, perhaps not of the person, but of the pain, of the cycle, of the things that you did that you shouldn't. So, these two oracle cards are reminding us to stay in the present, to process our emotions, to process our experiences, set them aside and watch how these experiences and emotions interact, and embrace that and let it transmute the experience into something new, into a rebirth. Temperance, the balance between, the harmony between your past and your present situation. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's temperance, it's going to take time. And you should be more compassionate towards yourself while you are doing that. Okay? The collective is here right now. The Knight of Wands with the Four of Pentacles. So you're free. You're free to take risks. You're free to take, to dance to the beat of your own drum. You're free to follow your passion. You're free to be silly, to do the things that you want, but something inside you is still holding you back. You are still pulling away from doing this energy, from enjoying your life. There is something that you're still not willing to let go here. You're not willing to give, but you're not willing to let go either. And like what this card says, we don't have to go back to our never ending cycle. What Where our focus should be is into breaking the illusions and fears that was created because of these cycles, the uncertainties that was created because of these cycles. We have to work on the illumination of these fears. We have to, because even the moon is an illusion. Without the sun, there will be no moonshine, right? Even this full moon is an illusion because the other part of the moon is not lit up. It's hidden in the dark. And it's okay. It's okay. We should work on our fears that we derived from this cycle that we ended. Work on our fears, work on our illusions, work on our fantasies. Embrace them. Be kind to to that part of you who was scared. Make yourself aware of these fears. And then the next step is, what can you do about it? What you needed to release is to continue giving your energy. I always say that I see this Page of Cups as, well, the Page of Cups is a dreamer. But in this case, the Page of Cups is dreaming of making a pig fly, dreaming of something that is impossible to happen. And we should release our need to keep giving into that energy, being generous to that energy, to that dream. I don't know. Temperance is about healing. Temperance is about blending the good with the bad and creating something magical out of it. Our suffering, we may find it as, we may list that as lessons learned, bad experiences, but that suffering actually can bring us something good, some transmutation. It can actually create a new version of us that we're going to like, to love, that is more authentic, that is more acceptable to us and not to other people. Not to other people. Inauthenticity, or not being true to yourself, is the major cause of anxiety. When we listen to these people who keeps on telling us to think something positive, think something, well, you should, but only after you process the emotions that are holding you down. Healing takes time, and I remember one friend who told me, or who apologized to me, because She said that she was complaining to me about a certain problem when I have bigger problem of my own. And I told her that it's like she sprained her feet and I break her bones. We both cannot walk correctly. It's the same. It hers may be just a sprain, mine is a broken bone, but the pain is the same. The uncomfortableness is the same. The impaired mobility is the same. So do not think that what you're going through is, it's like a contest of who's more broken. And please don't ever call yourself broken. Maybe damaged, but not broken. Okay, so it's time to embrace the reality of things. It's time to process those pains because what's delaying us from releasing those pains is the resistance to acknowledge it. Oh no, I'm my heart is breaking, but I'm going out there and show them that I'm good. I'm fine. Look at me. I'm going to flip my hair. That's what is delaying the healing. You don't have to act strong. You don't to prove to, you don't have to act like you're not affected to prove to them that you are strong. S- Being strong and strength are two different things. Okay, so I hope I'm making sense. And bless these suffering hearts. Bless your suffering hearts. I love you all.